Welcome to the Hunter Report, and this is the AKASO EK700. It's a 4K capable action camera. Is it a GoPro killer? Well, it's priced at $87 US. That's pretty darn impressive. Has a waterproof case, looks just like a GoPro. The question is it worth the money? So we're going to put it on a head-to-head test versus my iPhone 7 to see the pros and cons and if this is the camera for you.
So the iPhone 7 on the left is officially stabilized, and I'm not really seeing a lot of jitter at the AKASO, so I'm dare to say that it has stabilization. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it does.
And now we have a skin tone test, just so you can look at a real human and what the camera looks like. And we also have an audio test. We are listening to the AKASO, and now we are listening to the OtterBox. All right, so we are recording in remote control mode, and as you can see, I'm mirroring my image right here. So that's pretty cool. Doesn't look like you can adjust any of the settings while you're recording, but it's still quite handy to be able to frame yourself up, so it's actually pretty useful. And you can start and stop the recording, so let's go ahead right now and just click the stop button and move on to the next segment of the clip. Alright, so here's a button review of the AKASO. This is our recording button, and this is and that's the menu button. We've got a mini SD card slot, USB charging, and HDMI. The screen is not a touch screen, so you have to access all functions through it's like a video game, so we could take still pictures. This is, I guess, burst mode, timed mode. And we can get into the utilities, and now definitely video resolution, where you can choose between 1080 at 60, 1080 at 30, 4K at 25, 2.7K at 30, and 720p for fast slow motion video at 120 frames per second, so that's sort of cool. Although you are missing 1080p at 24 frames per second, so that's, you know. Looping video, timestamp, whether you show it or not, exposure. So that's sort of inconvenient to have to drill down into a menu, but again, it's a $90 camera, so there you go. To get fine-grained exposure control. It'd be nice if it was a touch screen so you could just touch expose, obviously. Photo resolution, burst photo, continuous lapse, power frequency, and the sound and upside down power control. Format, and that's about it. So in order to activate the Wi-Fi, you double tap the down button there. So let's go 2. And then you go on your iPhone, you look for the iCam, and you enter the password 12345678990. So it comes with a bunch of things and goodies. This is a remote control, so in addition to your phone, you can use this remote to power on the video or take a photo. Cables, connector, extra backplate is the waterproof housing. Some kind of dashboard mount, bunch of cables, bicycle mount, just a bunch of mounts. All right, so all the information is in. Is this a GoPro killer? Well, the AKASO's image quality is pretty darn good compared to the iPhone. I was really surprised given that it's an $87 camera. Now, you are limited to a completely wide-angle field of view here in this camera, whereas in the iPhone you get something that's a little tighter, and you can always add a very affordable lens adapter to the iPhone to get that same wide-angle effect. Really not that difficult. Here's 3 of the biggest cons of the AKASO. Number 1, the screen is not a touch screen. It's a little difficult to use. If you want to pay a few $100s more, you can get a touch screen in the GoPro, but at $87, I'd say that that's sort of worth it. The battery bay is not designed all that well, so that could be improved. It definitely sucks, but it's not the end of the world as long as you're very careful. Finally, the menu options and the exposure options here on the AKASO are very limited. It doesn't have 24 FPS at 1080, and it just doesn't really have a full spread of resolutions to frame rates. Again, it's $87. You get all these wonderful clip-ons and extensions, this remote control, and you can pair it up with your smartphone. I personally would use my smartphone with just some of these simple adapters for a bicycle or a first-person view. I just find it slightly easier to transfer files on the smartphone, and the touch intuitive interface of my iPhone, it's just a little more intuitive. But at $87, I know that whatever I say is not going to stop you from buying this. If you need a second angle, if you want to break into multi-angle shooting, have an angle from above and then quickly switch from above to front facing. Now that's a really good thing, having multi-angle. You can get a few of these bad boys, put one on each person in a podcast, and so that would be one interesting use for these. If you don't want to risk your iPhone, even though it is rated for water resistance, that's another good thing with the case here. Again, the form factor, it is a third the size of an iPhone or a smartphone, so the form factor might be a selling point. If it was $200 like the GoPro or $300 like the GoPro, I'd really say think long and hard and stick with your iPhone. But at $87, it's really hard not to just pick up one of these, literally throw it in your pocket and see what you're going to do with it. So go ahead and check the description below to pick up one of these AKASOs because it's a very good value for the money. Very straightforward, easy to use, and proof that if you're a company like GoPro, it's innovate or die. This is the Hunter Report. Please subscribe. Please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you soon.